Hi guys. Today we're gonna be going into our new class. We're gonna be making new class. Remember, as we ended our last video with stating that we probably need other stuff because we have a planet here, and we don't want to put it all in one class called Space Adventure because it's a separate noun, like we mentioned. Space Adventure is a noun, and all our other things here are verbs because they're methods and they're functions that we call and they do actions. But because we have another noun here, we want another class because it's a separation of code that we like, and then we can make objects of that class and we can make planet objects. But as we mentioned here, right here, we have our solar system here, but solar system has planets in it. So probably the first class we want to make is a planetary system class. So to start with, remember when we make a new class, we want to make it in a new file. We're going to make a new Swift file. I did this by doing Command N. So then click Swift file. And then remember, you're here in Mac OS. You don't really have to be here, but remember Swift file is over here. Then I'm going to name my file after my class, which is the convention. And remember, 2 capital letters. Start with a capital letter because it's a class, it's a noun. So planetary system is the name of my class. So remember, when we declare a class, you say planetary, you say class and then the name of the class. Okay, so we have our empty class now. And what variables should a planetary system have in it? We should probably have some stuff like let's say what did we use over here? We assumed that our planetary system was the solar system. And we should probably change so we should probably have this using a planetary system class, remember? And then what we used here was a number of planets, yeah, but we assumed it was called solar system, which we probably want to change that because when we have a different planetary system. So we probably need a name value in our class, and we're going to make it a string because names are strings. And we're going to make it constant because after we assign the name the first time, we don't change it. And remember, I did this annotation here. That's usually unnecessary if I were to do this. If I were to do this, it would be unnecessary because I'm assigning it in one line. But because I'm not assigning it yet, because I want to make whoever makes the planetary system object, I want to allow them to set the name of it. So to do this, I need to make an initializer. So, and other languages call this a constructor, but you call it an initializer in Swift. And if you see it's complaining here, it's because name never gets created, and it's saying that to do this you need an initializer. You need to initialize the value like this. But we don't want to do this, remember, because we don't want it to be an empty string, and we want to make it whatever the person who creates the planetary system calls it. So to do this, remember, it's an initializer. So to do this, it's just another method, except it has a special name called init for initializer. And just like a method, you can put parameters. But you can't return anything from an initializer because the initializer itself is creating the planetary system object. So for now, we just have a name property. So we're going to say that the user enters in a name, a name variable. It's a parameter. But when we create it in our method, it's just another variable. So we want to say our self.name equal name. And so I'll explain this now. So self is our individual object that we're currently in. And so we're in a class here. So when we make an object of this, and when that object is instantiated, self.name is the name of that object, the name up here. So, and then the name over here, it has different coloration in Xcode too, because this is the user provided name. This is self.name, and that's not self.name. That's just the most locally declared name, which is right here. We could have said name if this was, let's say, name x, and then we could say name x here, and then we would just say name equals. But since it's better to have our variables have the same name as up here, it's just better, and name x doesn't really make any sense. So it's good to just have the same names, and then we just use the self keyword. So this is our constructor. So now to initialize an object of planetary system with our name, we can, in our space adventure, we can have space adventure classes, space adventure objects own other objects, and then we can make an object of type planetary system. But note, this is not capitalized because this is a variable, but now I'm going to call the initializer by typing out planetary system, and then we use the constructor we just made, the initializer. So what this is doing is that we're creating a constant variable called planetary system, and it's of type planetary system with a capital P, this class we just made. And we can call the initializer for that class by just using the name of that class, and then just because it's just a normal method, we have the same parameters like before. We say, but in this case we have to type out this name over here, but we didn't have to do it over here. It's a special thing with initializers, just so you know which variable you're initializing, so it's easy to read. You can type out name, and later on you have the option of adding this to your own methods that aren't initializers, but we didn't feel a need for it yet, so we're not going to do it just now. So right now we have our planetary system, so we can probably make this work a little better, because we don't want to say it's our solar system. We named it something up here, so we just want to say whatever. We want to interpolate this string, remember, by saying with lowercase planetary system. But we can't just print out the planetary system. We want to print out the name of the planetary system. So this is our object called planetary system with a lowercase b, and we instantiate an object of the class planetary system, and we use the initializer with name, and we set it to solar system. So now when we run this, we are currently on, so it says planetary system. It says the name of our planetary system, which we said up here was solar system. So you see how this is working. We're gonna make classes for each noun, and we're gonna grow this class a bit, because right now it's pretty simple, because planetary systems need planets in them. So we're going to talk about arrays in the next video, and how one planetary system object can hold multiple planets. But to do that first, we're going to have to declare a planet class. We'll be doing all of this in the next video.